Good morning. Um, sorry. As you guys can look around online, things are a little bit different right now. For those of you who have been with me, you know that there are certain rules that are in place. So I expect you to kind of lead the path on that. You're setting an example. There's a couple of things that I want to go over with you first before we get on to science to make sure that you guys know where you're going. All right, your schedule is a little bit different for those of you that are online for a few days. You're with me in the mornings. At 9:10, you will get on with Miss Harani. So I want to show you what to look for and where you need to go. I want to make sure that you understand where to find the codes. So you need to make sure that you are paying attention. You also need to know, some of you have your cameras off. That's not acceptable. You must have your camera on. I do not need to see your whole face. Now, that doesn't mean that somebody won't come in and change that, but for me, I don't need to see your whole face, but I do need to see the top of your head because I need to know that you are sitting there. Okay? It's tough being at home and not at school. It's not the same. I know it's not the same. I got to experience it myself for a couple of days last week, as you know. We just kind of have to roll with it. You're going to have to step up your educational game right now for those of you who are not used to being at home. All right. Getting back to where you need to go. If you are on my homepage, you can go look at the links for Miss Lindsay and Miss Harani. So like I said, your schedule is going to change. You're going to be with me first, then you go to Miss Harani, and then you'll go to Miss Lindsay. Okay? For those of you who have Profit for Homeroom and ELA, you're actually going to go to Lindsay. Please understand that the stuff is the same. They both do the same assignments. But you are going to connect with Harani next at 9:10, and then you will connect with Lindsay at 11:05. So when you go into now let's do Harani first. I'm going to have to leave student view because I don't have access in student view. So give me just a second. My computer is running really slow. I guess the cold weather has it sluggish. All right, excuse me. So like I said, you are going to go to Harani next. And I will remind you of this whenever you leave. So you're going to go to Miss Harani. So once you get into Miss Harani's page, always look for your Google Meets symbol. That is the one thing that we all have in common. That in able to get in our Meets, you're going to look for the Google Meets camera, okay? Look for the Google Meets camera. So when you click on the Google Meets camera, you will see the times of the meetings, okay? The times of the meetings. The meeting codes are highlighted. So like I said, when you go to Miss Harani next, that's the 9:10. The code is right here. The code is there. So you click on the meeting, you enter the code. Okay? Click on the meeting, you enter the code. Wonder if she has a link to Miss Lindsay's page on hers. She does. So look at this. Even she has a link to Miss Lindsay's page. Do y'all see that? She has a button to go to Miss Lindsay too. So realize that you can go to all of our pages through all of our home pages. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Miss Lindsay so I can show you where that code is. So you're going to go to the Mrs. Met's homeroom this afternoon for Miss Lindsay. Okay, so at 11:05, you're going to come over here to the Mrs. Met's homeroom, Google Hangouts, and you're going to enter in that code. Thumbs up. That is fantastic. All right. Getting back to science. Does she have a link on hers? Nope, Miss Lindsay doesn't have a link to us. So I will go back to my Canvas. And get back to Weather Day 2. Weather Day 2. So today's guiding question is, what is air? What is an atmosphere? And what are the gases in Earth's atmosphere? So we are going to learn what is air, what is an atmosphere, and what are the gases in the Earth's atmosphere. Your Google etiquette. Show up on time. Guys, school starts at 7:50. I log on before 7:50 most of the time. It's very rarely that I don't. Most of the time I do. Please make sure that you have a quiet place to work. It's kind of like being in school. You need to find a structured atmosphere that you can focus and succeed in. Make sure you have all your supplies. Find a spot, have all your writing utensils, your computer, your crayons, your markers, whatever you could possibly need right there. Make sure your microphone stays on mute. Please understand that I am recording the meeting. I am recording the meeting, okay? That is a disclaimer because most of the time I'm able to pause it before I call your name. Sometimes I'm not. So please be aware that there are going to be times that your name may end up in the videos because it's really hard to go back and delete it out. Make sure your video is on. That is the one thing that is not on this video are your pictures. Your pictures are not in the video. The only thing that will be is going to be your name if I call on you, but it will only be your first name, right? All right. Raise your hand or use the nod to ask a question. Guys, that's very important because some of you like to just blurt out. Please don't do that. Please wait, because what happens is I like to try. I'm not always successful. I like to try to pause the video before I call on you. Please make sure that you're sitting up fully engaged. You should not be laying around on the couch, laying around on the bed, laying around on the floor. You need to sit at a table, sit at a desk, sit somewhere where you are going to be successful. And then make sure that you leave at the end of the meeting. I know down there it says make sure you're only using the chat when the teacher tells you to use it. You noticed I turned it off this morning. Because first thing, right out of the gate, people are chit-chatting about, hello, how are you? No, that's not what it's for. That is not what it's for. We do not socialize on the chat. The next thing, our class norms are to be kind, be respectful, and be working. If you are doing number 3, then number 1 and 2 just fall into place. Our mission statement, please do not unmute. There is not a reason to unmute. I can see your lips moving and everybody needs to repeat after me. We will work together as friends and family. In Mrs. Met's class, to gain more knowledge, to work, and to learn. So we can all be successful. We will listen to each other, help each other, and encourage each other. We will make things happen and show the world we will not accept anything short of the best. Thank you, guys. Our class goal is 100% of Mrs. Met students will show growth on unit assessments throughout the 2020-2021 school year. They will accomplish this goal by being purposeful and intentional with their time and learning. Today's agenda in science, we're going to record today's weather. So remember, we're going to open up that tracking weather file, open up the WeatherBug, and then we will work on the problem of the day, and then we will continue with our lesson for weather day 2. All right, so I am going to go open up the weather tracking. So all of you need to be getting into Canvas right now. You need to be getting into Canvas. You're getting into the Mrs. Met's Canvas homepage. You are opening up your weather tracking. Your weather tracking. Let me open mine up and then I will show you where it's at because I know some of you had a hard time finding it yesterday. It is in Module 21, Week 21. It's not at the bottom. It's somewhere in the middle. I am trying to get mine open, but I can't find it. That's not it. All right, let me show you where it's at for those of you that are having a hard time finding it. So, when you go on Mrs. Met's homepage, I just go into modules. So just click on modules. Your weather tracking is tracking the weather. See, in science, it's right there in the middle, tracking the weather. Go ahead and click that open. And then once you have it open, it should look something similar to this. Only yours is going to be in a CAMI file where mine is in a PDF. So I am going to click on my WeatherBug. Maybe. There we go. I am going to open up my WeatherBug. I'm going to make sure that the city is Euless. Please go in the upper right hand corner. If yours does not say Euless, change it to Euless. I am going to, so you're going to see me toggling back and forth. So the first thing I know that I need to do in my table is I need to record the high and the low. The high is 49. The low is 31. High is 49. The low is 31. I'm going to go back to my table. Today is Wednesday, January 27th. I am going to enter in a text box. You may have to adjust the size. There is nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and adjust it if you need to. I'm going to enter in another text box. I already forgot what the high was. 49, low is 31. So I'm going to do 49/31 for the high and low. Yesterday I told you we're not going to worry about average temperature. So I'm going to leave that blank. I am going to add a wind speed. I'm going to add another text box. Come back over here. I'm going to look at the wind speed. The average wind is 5 miles per hour. I know that somebody is raising their hand. I'm going to ask that you wait until I'm done. Let's walk through all of this together because like I said, I am recording, so it's easier if I just can get through all that. Then I'll pause and then we will check. I am going to tell you though, this goes fast. It does go fast. You're going to have to be paying attention, okay? So the person who keeps raising their hand, did you hear me? Let's wait a minute. Soon as I'm done, I will make sure that nobody has any questions. But again, you need to be fully focused, fully paying attention. Because if you are focused and intentional, I will answer your question and you won't have one. Let's wait for questions until the end. The average wind speed is 5 miles per hour. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to enter in 5 miles per hour. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and turn the chat on. So if you have a question, you can ask the class and maybe somebody can help you. No chatting about things that are not about tracking the weather. If it is not about this file and tracking the weather, you do not need to ask about it. The only thing we are discussing right now is tracking the weather. So now I'm going to go add a text box for air pressure. So I click add a text box. Your add a text box may be a little bit different than mine because remember, you're working in a CAMI file. I'm going to go back to my, so I don't know if y'all are noticing, I'm toggling back and forth. Toggling back and forth. So technically you should not even be looking at this meeting. This meeting should not come up. You need to be toggling between your weather tracking and your WeatherBug. Your weather tracking and your WeatherBug. The air pressure is 30.28, so I'm going to come back over here, and I am going to type in 30.28. The humidity, I'm going to add a text box. Go back to my WeatherBug. The humidity is 92%. Go back to my tracking weather. Enter in 92%. Resize my text box. The amount of rainfall, I'm going to add a text box. Go back to my WeatherBug. The rainfall today is 0 so far. Go back to my weather tracking, type in 0. And it says to make a prediction for tomorrow. Well, I know it's windy. And because it's windy, I think the temperature is going to change. But I want to know where the wind is coming from. I want to know where the wind is coming from. Average wind is east-northeast. So I think is it blowing from the east northeast or to the east northeast? Let's see. Let me see. So the wind is coming from the east northeast. I think. The east northeast. So the wind direction is reported in the direction from which the wind originates. So when I'm looking at the average wind, that means it's coming from the east northeast. And because it's coming from the north, then that tells me that it's going to get colder because the air up north is colder. So my prediction is going to be that I think that it will be just a little cooler tomorrow and sunny. I don't know why I think it's going to be sunny. I just think it's going to be sunny. I don't know what that was. Computer's really slow today. So, I think it will be just a little bit cooler tomorrow and sunny. Again, I don't know why I think it's going to be sunny. I think it's just going to be sunny. And maybe I think it's going to be sunny because the wind is only 5 miles per hour, which means that it's not like blowing 20 miles an hour. If it was probably closer to 10 miles an hour, I might say that it was going to be cloudy, just because I feel like when it gets cloudy, it gets windier. I don't know if that's true or not. We're going to learn a little bit more as we go. So please make sure that when you are tracking the weather, you click submit, save as. You are not going to submit yet. We are not submitting it yet. We're going to be doing this for 2 weeks. So just hang on to that submit. Just submit, save as, close it, and then go ahead and open up today's assignment in science. No, wrong way. All right. So today, the problem of the day, which soil type allows the most water to move through it quickly? Now, this was a question on our CBA, and I think it was a little bit of a different one because we hadn't really talked about loam. So when you are facing problems like this where they don't give you diagrams, one of the things that you are going to start being asked to do is draw a diagram. So I want to draw a diagram of the 4 soils, okay, that are listed there. You have sand, silt, clay, and loam, correct? Sand, silt, clay, and loam. My diagrams are not going to be fancy. Not going to be fancy. But I know that sand are bigger granulars. And water passes through it pretty easily, right? I hope y'all's drawings look better than mine. Y'all can't see it. Why can you not see what I'm doing? Oh, I know why. Okay. You know what? I am slow. You know what I am going to do? I am going to see if I can find a picture of sand, silt, clay, and loam. Now, loam, nope. Loam is a combination of sand, silt, and clay. Nope. This isn't working, is it? Nope. Man, oh man. So here's what I'm going to tell you is you need to be drawing, and it looks like you're not drawing because I see hands in front of the camera. You need to be drawing. Oh, I wonder if the scribble will work. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at this. Look at this. Come on, keep scribbling. All right, so now I'm scribbling in my sand. It's not fancy. I'm not asking it to be fancy. Okay? I'm not asking it to be fancy, and I'm going to label that sand. I know that water flows through sand pretty easily. And then the next one was silt. So sand, silt is a little bit smaller. I don't know if I can make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to try though. It's a little bit smaller. So I am going to scribble it a little bit smaller. And remember, guys, we're going through this because these were questions on your CBA. And honestly, I just felt to teach you how to do this. And so I want to make sure that when you are given a question, that you draw pictures if pictures are not provided. I'm actually going to scribble it a little bit more. So right now on your science file, you should be drawing the same thing I am. So you're toggling back and forth, right? You're toggling back and forth between this meeting and your Cami file because you're following along. Thumbs up, you understand that. Yes, you understand that you're going between your Cami file and this presentation. So silt lets a little less water through because it's a little closer together. Now I'm going to do clay. I'm going to do clay. Clay is going to be even closer because I kind of feel like clay just really soaks the water up, right? Water doesn't really, it's smaller and it's closer together. So less water flows through clay. Oops, I didn't mean to make it that big. Let's do that again. Water flows through doesn't really flow through it all that easily. It kind of just kind of stays in there a little bit. Flows out a little bit, but not nearly as much as we think it should. So if you notice when I'm drawing it, I'm drawing my little grains a little bit closer together and a little smaller. And then loam. I'm going to add loam. And loam is the one that we really hadn't talked about. It might even be mistaken for hummus. But loam is a mixture of sand, silt, and clay. So I am going to draw all of it. So I have my sand is big. I'm going to draw a couple of big ones. I'm going to draw silt a little bit smaller. You need to stay on mute. Raise your hand and I will get to you as soon as I can. And then my clay is going to be just a little bit smaller and closer together. A little bit smaller and closer together. So now that I have my drawings, because it says which soil type allows most water to move through it quickly. So, I knew that it said soil type, so I needed to draw out my soil types because my soil types were not given to me. But what are the key words that I'm going to be underlining to help me answer this question a little bit better? What's the key? So my question is asking me, which one lets the most water go through? So looking at my new diagram, which one has the most space to let water flow through a little bit easier? I know that my answer is B, sand. Air is a mixture of gases that surround the earth. A gust of wind is air moving. Going to the next one.